Hey everybody, this is your imaginary friend Jack here with another speed paint video, this time with voiceover. A few weeks ago over on our Twitch channel, I put out a call for the community to submit their OCs for me to draw. I did this because I have a really hard time doing commission style work. I've been asked before, and just because of my general life and my work schedule and things like that, I find it hard to do commission work in a reasonable amount of time. So I figured, why not take that idea of maybe doing commissions and put it on Twitch, and that way I can still do the work that I want to do and still help bring people's characters to life, but do it in a way that is much more at the pace that I can manage. And if people like it, they can still support, but I found that this way seems to be something that really works for both parties, and you can see progress being done real time, and I still feel like I'm accomplishing something, and I get to really challenge myself. I'll quit yammering on and actually start playing the video now. So without further ado, let's take a look at our first submission. This was by GrenzenlosL, a wonderful member of our community, and she submitted her character, Josie. So of course we start off with just a basic sketch. I started off just trying a couple of different poses on a stream just to practice, and then I ended up settling on this one. I was really still trying to get to know the character, and so I didn't want to try anything too fancy as far as pose work. I really wanted to just figure out all the base elements and make her look really, really tough and kind of badass looking, rather than try to do a pose when I didn't know the character too much just yet. I was really reading through the email and trying to put all the pieces together, and now I feel a little bit more comfortable, and maybe I could do some of the posing a little bit more dynamic if I ever tried this character again. Speaking of badass and sketching, the brush I actually used to sketch is the Kyle's Inkbox Badass Brush KTW. I use this one because it, to me, really gives a very nice sketching quality, and it feels very much like sketching with pencil and paper, so it helps me bridge the disconnect. I really do love sketching in a sketchbook, but I have primarily moved to digital. I use a Huon Canvas 12, which has been wonderful. It's not the most expensive tablet in the world, but it's a really great bang for your buck, and pairing that with using this brush really does help me kind of bridge that gap. As we kind of move into the line art phase, we go into the Kyle's Inkbox Clean as a Whistle brush. I love using this brush too, and reason being is I really love the brush sets that Adobe puts out. I don't use that many, but I really love the wide range that Adobe and the Kyle's collections that they come out with all the time. They're always pushing and experimenting, and what's great is they're free. There's a lot of brushes out there, but some of them cost money, and all for that, you're supporting the creators of those brushes, and you can create your own, but that's not really where my head is. That's not really how I approach things, and I don't have a head for creating brushes and stuff like that. So having this resource for free and having the ability to experiment with all these different brushes is really wonderful. As we lay in the flats here, I'm actually using my Kyle's Paintbox Bristle 01 brush. I really love the texture that this brush has, and pairing that with the Kyle's Big Painty blender really helps me push the style that I go for. I really have been trying to go for more of a painterly style here recently. I like to say that my overall drawing and art style is kind of a mix of anime and American comics. I've really tried to blend the two influences that I really love together, and I think this helps me push that even further. In regards to this piece specifically, I really tried to push myself even further. I found here recently that when I have been painting over the last year, my colors just aren't as dark. My shadows aren't as dark as I usually like them. My highlights aren't as bright as I really like them. I don't have enough dramatic lighting. And so with this piece specifically, I wanted to really push that and really play. And these brushes really helped out with that. And I'm really happy with some of the depth and some of the shadow and highlight work that we were able to get here. And we'll see that a little bit further on when we really start working on the jacket. Right now, as we work on the face and the skin tones, we're actually seeing another challenge that I really enjoyed with this character. So Josie is only about 15 years old, and one of the challenges that I had was trying to make a character that didn't seem too old yet too young at the same time. I really wanted to highlight that, that middle phase that we go through as teenagers. And so some of the things that I did to help kind of bridge that gap are, first off, by giving her a slightly rounded face, that gives her kind of that more youthful look. But then in the painting process, we really went in on the cheek and kind of added some depth in there, almost like we were starting to, elongate the face, like we're losing that baby fat a little bit, and kind of letting the face narrow out like we do as we get older. And, I think we found a nice balance. She doesn't look too young. She doesn't look too much like an adult. And I'm really happy with how that came out. Now we've kind of moved on to the jacket, and this is where you're really going to see that kind of depth and that shadow work that I was talking about and the highlights come in. You'll also probably see me take a few breaks here that are a little bit longer because this part we were actually doing live on Twitch. And so I've kind of found that I take a little bit more time when I'm on Twitch because I take a lot of breaks to talk to the community, answer questions, things like that, and connect. And it's really helps me doing that actually. For a long time I was really focused on trying to up my speed and be like, I have to be able to get this done in X amount of time and, yada, yada. But I've really found that I wasn't happy doing that. I do occasionally challenge myself to be faster because I think it, just is nice to be able to know that I can work quickly, but and work through my process quickly. But I really also enjoy taking my time with things, and I would rather connect with my Twitch community than focus too much on, did I get this done in X amount of time? Did I get it done that quickly? I'd much rather take it as a chance to talk and communicate and, really bring the character to life in the best way that I can, to really think about all the aspects of the character and how does the light fall here and here. And, the more you do it, the quicker you get anyway. So, I'm trying to not worry too much about the speed in which I'm doing things, but rather the quality in which I'm doing things. And I'm really happy with how this one came out. On Twitch, we actually focused a lot on the upper body, really spent a lot of time putting in some of these smaller details towards the end of the stream because I was getting tired. Didn't want to work on the bottom of the jacket just yet. I ended up doing that off camera, and but I'm just really happy with the detail that we were able to capture with the jacket itself. And as you can see, now we're moving on to doing the pants and stuff. This was all off Twitch. Again, I really love the blender brush and the bristle brush that I was using because of the texture that we're able to get. It really does feel kind of like, you see a little bit of the brush strokes, but I think that adds to the painterly style that I'm really trying to go for. I also think it's great when we get into like some of the little details on the holsters and the belts and stuff. I really tried to add in some like that cracked leather effect that we'll see here in just a second and make it look like worn, like, the pistols have been drawn a little bit. I definitely think that looking back on this piece, there's parts that I could definitely do better. As we get, into the holster and stuff, I don't think it came out as detailed as the jacket did and some of the other places. I like the work that we did, but I think, lessons learned, there's definitely parts that I can push a little bit further, definitely some more texture I could go in and add, but I'm still really happy with the quality. Another problem that I find myself having is a lot of times I get too hooked into some of the smaller details that maybe you're not going to see. And so I think I'm still trying to find that healthy balance of, I don't want to work too close and add too many small details that really you're not going to see when you look at the bigger picture, but also still adding just enough of those to make the piece really pop. Yeah. As you can see now, we're kind of moving into the inner lining of the jacket. Again, that's the part I'm the happiest with when it comes to this whole piece, is the jacket. Really, like, I think I did a really good job on that, if I can, kind of toot my own horn here for a second. I think, it's really important to look at, the parts where you maybe didn't do so well, like the pistols kind of come off a little cartoony. I'm not the greatest at, drawing weapons and stuff or painting weapons, and that's okay with me. I'm still learning to get better. Same thing with the boots, but then to also really highlight and look at where you did really well. And I'm really happy with the lighting and the way the jacket came out, and then the way the skin highlight looks. I think it looks pretty natural. It looks like she's kind of lit from the side here, maybe like a high noon situation. I didn't really know what I wanted to do for the background, so I started out by just adding in a kind of general texture with the 1960s background number 2 brush, and that actually spurred me to maybe do like a wanted poster. I thought that the texture really reminded me of wanted posters, and so what I thought to do was actually make a small wanted poster and then duplicate it a bunch of times and fill the background that way, and I think it came out really well. I added a small vignette around everything just to darken it up, and then I went in and just played with some of my levels and things like that. And here she is. This is Josie. She is a wonderful, really cool, rough, tough cactus kicker of a character. I was so excited to work on her, and GrenzenlosL, I thank you so much for trusting me with her and letting me bring her to life in this way. And I hope that you and your adventuring party have a lot of fun exploring the wild, strange West out there. Thank you again so much, everybody, for watching. If you want more of me, I do stream Saturday through Tuesday over at twitch.tv/ImaginaryFriendJack. And if you like this type of content, please like, subscribe, comment on the video to let me know, so that I know you guys are enjoying this and I can do more. I do a healthy mix of gaming and art, but I want to tailor the channel a little bit to see what people like the most. And yeah. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, evening, wherever you are, that you are happy and safe, and we will see you next time.